Hello, Tom Levecchia here.
Thanks.
This the latest edition of the Armchair MBA. We have a very special co-host today, Vincent.
The latest edition of
Oh, hold on, I
the
gotta mute this.
Armchair
I
MBA.
got a great
I heard
co-host
it twice.
today. Exactly, Vinny Bracco, aka the Brooklyn guy.
Hey,
Vinny, welcome to the Armchair MBA. How you doing today?
thanks. How are you? I'm good.
I'm doing well. Teresa Murphy, how are you? So we're going to settle in. A little bit of an agenda today, but it's going to be a short one. Talk a little bit about some mob news because there's some interesting stuff happening in the mobosphere. And then number two, give our Super Bowl predictions. Teresa and everybody else, if you want to share your predictions below, just put them. I'm going to keep track, and then we'll have a little fun with it on Sunday night or Monday. And then if anybody wants to jump on, this is actually a true open forum. So Bob Miller, let me write this down. He likes the Rams. And then and equal 4. So they're given 4 Vinny, right? Rams?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Interesting. I don't know. Burrow's like a wild card. I don't know. I just cause like, when you're a rookie and you're got ice in your veins, you're almost like not that you don't care, but like it's the biggest deal of your life, but you don't even know it because you're so young. And then like 20 years later, you're like, oh fuck, that was a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that could like work in his favor,
Yeah, it may. You're too young and you're too stupid to be afraid.
Exactly. And then the only thing is like the run game for the Rams, like Henderson's hurt and Akers is good. He tends to fumble and he's good after the catch, but off the line, I don't see him. So I just see them doing it. And then I'll give my prediction in a minute. And there's a reason why. Mm-hmm. I just think it's going to go straight West Coast offense. And I think he's just going to light up the board.
Yeah, wow. I think, McVay is, believe it or not, very conservative in big games. And Cincinnati has offensive line difficulties. I don't think it's going to be an ugly game, but I think that the defenses will drop it in the deep zones. And I don't see a high-scoring game.
Yeah, you. Hopefully you're over. If not, but I'll be texting it. You see like a 6-3 first half.
Yeah, I think they'll feel each other out, and I think giving up 8 minutes or 9 minutes of the first quarter
is a lot.
Could be the difference. When it's 48, it's a lot. 48, it's 6 touchdowns and a couple field goals.
Good point.
Do you think that they're going to have 6 touchdowns with the running game? I don't know.
Good point. I know we're on. Lee's a friend. Hey, Lee, we know you're doing your show. He's got a lot of people in there. Hopefully, I don't want people to come there from here. Yeah. Our number's a little low, but we're going to record this. So obviously for the next 24 hours, people can watch it. So let's jump right in. Some interesting mob news happening. And the first, I don't know if you heard about it, Vin, Angel Gotti and her son is actually suing Gene Borello for $10 million. Did you hear about that?
I heard about it when I was on.
Okay. So I want to make sure I navigate correctly. Angel does reach out to me time to time. I don't know, and I don't think she's my biggest fan. I had Gene on my show. He was a good guest as far as I was concerned. So I have no issue with either, whether or not they have an issue with me. And I just want to report on this down the middle. Be respectful in your comments. I just want to report down the middle, and then people can kind of decide where they land. So it was obviously, let me post this. So here's a copy of the article, and I'll just kind of like paraphrase it. So leave the gun, check the Wi-Fi. So obviously there was a battle between Angel Gotti and I guess Frank Gotti Albano. He's 37 years old. They're suing for $10 million, claiming that he unleashed a torrent of heinous online abuse against them because of his sick obsession with the late Gambino's family's Teflon Don. Obviously,
that's her son on the right, on
yes,
my right.
Yes.
Okay.
He's apparently 37 years old, according to the article. They have him, and I think I kind of remember some of the rumblings. Allegedly, he created a pair of Instagram accounts named Angel Gotti, I don't want to say, on Angel Gotti, derogatory, And they
Yeah.
used them to bombard her with nasty messages. Again, this is alleged, obviously innocent to proven guilty. It said the hot-tempered Borrello, who helped the feds convict 24 mobsters in 16, only to land. I know we had to go back in for a little bit. And then it says also wrongly accused Angel Gotti and her son of being rats, according to the lawsuit. And then there was a little bit of a YouTube rant. I think I remember that, where he kind of went off on them a little bit. So, so this is obviously is heating up. And then he made, certain claims that allegedly, according to the lawsuit, are, untrue. Interesting enough is, you'll appreciate this. He allegedly admitted to creating the vile Instagram accounts during an August YouTube interview with MobTubers.com. Lee Cole. Lee Cole is mentioned in the New York Post, Vin.
Is he really?
Yeah. He's mentioned in the New York Post. Hey, Scotty boy. Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you. Really appreciate
And listen, she doesn't come into my chats often. I have
Yeah.
once in a while conversed only by chat, never email or anything. She's within her rights. That I've never seen it, and nor do I want to see it, because I thought when I heard about it, it's pretty vile, and she's within her rights to do that.
Well, let me continue, and then we'll do our
Okay.
usual unpacking. So I guess he had an interview with Lee. Mentioned that it was him. I don't know if it was public or private. I don't know if it says. And then it said mentioned he got in trouble that when he was on the show in 18. And then it's kind of going on a little bit about Gene in the article. This was, and then I guess Dana Lamacchia is the attorney representing the Gottis in the case, and they consider him still relentless. And then the quote is, "This is something we felt we had to do. We had no other recourse," said the lawsuit. He's going full charge ahead on this. And that's kind of the gist of the lawsuit and the gist, of the story. And I just wanted to, not that I had a full discussion or any big, deep conversation. I called an attorney friend of mine who handles these type of cases. I'm guessing it's obviously civil. I'm guessing it's defamation. One of the tricky things about defamation is there's we covet our First Amendment right. You do, I do, Vinny. We're both patriots, if you will,
Yeah.
in that sense. So part one is there's free speech. Then it's like, well, how do you get to defamation, right? So defamation is you say something that's untrue. It gets tricky now. Then it's intent to harm. So I'm going to make this up. Vinny is a bad dude. Okay. Well, Vinny did this and it's untrue. Now, if I say you're a bad dude and I try to say something that's untrue that can be proven, right? Is it my intent to harm you? And then where it gets tricky at the end, and again, I don't, obviously they're suing. There's it'll get hashed out in court, or
So it's public pornography, isn't it?
well, so where it gets tricky is injury, economic injury. So I don't know. Is it Dana Lamacchia? I'm guessing if Angel and her son retained her. I'm assuming she's a good attorney. And where it gets tricky is if you could show injury. I'll give you an example. Let's just say somebody was making fun of you, Vinny, and you relied economically on your show, and everybody's like, Vinny's just a bad dude. Now you can't get gas. I'm not going on your show. You're a bad dude. Or, hey, Vinny, I was going to sponsor you, and I pulled my sponsorship out
Right.
because they said bad things about you. That'd be examples of economic injury. So one thing I can't imagine, and again, I'm trying to stay impartial on this, right?
Yeah.
Is on one end, I don't know of any, because I think she would say it. She seemed like a very transparent person. If there was injury economically, I would think she would on her show or other shows she's been on.
I would too.
You would imagine she would say that, but maybe that part she kept private. That's her business as an American. She has a right to do that. Now, conversely, again, I do not know Dana, but to have this type of lawsuit for this type of money, I can't imagine an attorney in good standing not taking the case if it wasn't at the very least thinking they have a good recourse. Now, according to my attorney friend, 95% of these cases do not actually make it to trial. Trial is very expensive on both parts. It's very unpredictable. And then the other part is the $10 million is obviously a statement. I don't know what type of assets Gene has. It's not my job to count his money. But generally, when you go after that high amount, there's either a lot of injury or you're making a statement or both, you know? So that's my best to kind of, I don't know, give the
That couldn't hurt him criminally, could it?
No, no. The only thing is if I think you can get criminal if I think if you infringe on her civil rights,
Oh,
which I don't see here at first blush. And then also if it was criminal, it would be the state versus Gimbrella versus it looks like Angel and her son. So I mean, I'd like to think that lawsuits are the absolute last resort, which they said. So that's kind of confirming. And a lot of these don't end up, they really don't end up in court. Now, the same token is I don't see Gene settling on this, so like usually there's a settlement of some kind. It all depends how far Gotti's want to go. A co-train, they might, I'll give you my example. If that was me and I was making a statement, I'd be happy with a cease and desist. Don't talk about me
that's
anymore.
what I'm thinking. She's
And I
looking
won't,
for that,
and I
probably.
won't go after your money, right?
That's what I think she's doing.
And again, I don't know Gene. I don't know his strategy.
No.
He might say, you know what, I'm looking at probably a 30K note on just defending my name. Is that worth it? It's not worth it. Fuck it. I'll just sign off on that. Maybe ego maybe bruised, or maybe he felt he was using his First Amendment right, but like wearing his hat, and then he might sign off on that. That's generally, according to my friend, how these things hash out
It
and how they.
must be very hurtful. I cannot imagine my daughter and and a woman, say sister and her kid. I don't have a daughter. Uh, Seeing that pornography, I could never imagine. She must have been very, very hurt by that,
Well, it
and
gets
she wants it to stop. I think she just wants. I don't know if anything else is going on, but
well,
because I don't follow it, but it's got to stop.
yeah. Amber, I got you. Hold on, let me make sure I get Amber. Cincy +4. I have the over as well. I think it's 48.5, but I'll
It
check,
is.
Amber. But we'll work with 48.5 because I want to make sure the half makes a difference. But I'm with you on the over. Oops, I get my prediction away. Well, like I said, it gets tricky because there's a few different moving parts. You have First Amendment, right? And believe it or not, Ben, guess the number one defense against libel and slander. Guess what the number one defense is?
Mental illness.
The truth. The truth. So I'll give you an example. They call me, Tom, you're a fat effer, right? You're a slob, you're this, you're that. Well, that could be slander, right? People want to do business with me because they think I'm a slob, right? But if they like to say, well, you're overweight and you had a few drinks on and you slur your words,
Right.
this guy is a slob. Now it gets subjective on how to arrive there, but the number one defense in these cases is the truth. Yeah. So I don't know how you're going to prove what.
Well,
what
the pictures that he posted of her,
I don't know. That's the thing.
I never saw them, but she told me that they were lewd and disgusting.
what? Okay. So
I never saw them.
I just, whatever reason, by hook or crook, you think I would, being in the mob space and I've interviewed Gene in the past, I really did not know what was going on. The little that I knew,
Either way.
I think I caught Lee's show that he made some really bad Instagram accounts, which I guess are cited in the piece. And then I've never seen them. And I think they were down by then, right? But yeah, it's going to be interesting how it pans out. Hopefully, whatever the truth is will come out. And then hopefully they can get to some reasonable accord because there was I think a similar lawsuit where I believe, again, I'm just giving the facts. So Jeff, if I mess this up, forgive me. I think Jeff Canarsie sued Johnny A-Light because Johnny A-Light alleged that Jeff was sending or Angel was sending him inappropriate photos, which again, it was resolved somehow. Or it was resolved again. I don't recall. Forgive me, Jeff, if I don't know. Go email me, or if you're around, jump on. But and I think there was some things going on there. So I just feel bad that it's like you got to. It's just been people talk a lot, and you know this because you dealt the feds with
Yeah,
lawyers, but
yeah,
lawyers are expensive. I don't care what anybody says. Um, um,
very expensive.
they're very expensive. They're draining mentally. And here's the thing: no lawyer, if they do not say this to you, Ben, you know this. The outcome is unpredictable. You don't know. Just because you may think you're right, I got that. You get a judge on the wrong day, man. So I just wish them hopefully.
Against the woman, against the how her name shouldn't matter, but do you think that matters at all
Well,
to a
if you
judge?
notice, so I'll just give you, again, I'm
Because
guilty.
it shouldn't. It shouldn't.
Well, I'll give no, it 100% should it.
Absolutely not.
And if it does, that's disgusting, even more disgusting than what's happening.
Absolutely.
But I'll give you an example. John Gotti's daughter and grandson in $10 million cyber spat. So listen, we're guilty of this. Like when I would interview A Light, yeah, you'd optimize it, right? If I say John
Yeah.
A Light or whoever, it's not going to get looks. But if you type in former Gambino associate or former Gambino enforcer, it gets the algorithm and that kind of stuff. The post is now doing the same thing. Instead of saying Angel Gotti or Angel Gotti and her son, they're saying John Gotti's, son, daughter, and granddaughter.
What gets the algorithm? Just to get off this for a second. What is it? The description or
So the description helps people like jump on it, right? The thumbnail, this is on YouTube. The thumbnail helps people jump on it, right? So you see a
why?
thumbnail, or
Oh, the
you see,
picture.
yeah, the picture is called thumbnail. So if you see a picture and you see a good title, could be clickbaitish, you jump on, right?
Because I've lost. I used to get 800, 900, and I noticed now 400, five
I'm gonna
hundred.
push it down a little bit. I'm gonna tell you why. I
Tell
think
me
one, your title, you should put a descriptive title in of what you're gonna talk about, and then
in the regular title without the
correct.
hashtags. Okay.
Correct, and then put a 3-sentence description in of what you're going to talk about because you're always
In
going
the
to be live.
hashtag.
And so you have the title, which is the top.
Right. That's where the
So,
description
hey, I'm
goes
going
of
to
what I'm
be
going to talk about. Right.
sharing best memories about the Beatles,
Right.
and then in the description you're going to want to write all as much as like 3 sentences, and then you can put the hashtags in, and then you go live. So if you're going to talk about a subject,
Oh, I didn't know in the description you put actual word. I thought that was only for hashtags. Oh, because I think I used to put.
next time you come over, you're gonna I'll run you through it. So you want to do what is called evergreen content, right? So this is not evergreen content. Super Bowl prediction. It's gonna die tomorrow.
Right.
Maybe
Right.
leave
Right.
on a little bit because we're talking about some lawsuits and stuff, right? Or some. We'll get to Campos in a second. But general, I'll give an example. I'll interview Frank Fridolino, right? And when I interview him, I'll talk about ex Bonanno associate breaks down the Americanization of the mob. I'm just making this up, right?
Okay. Yeah.
By doing that, that can live for a very long time, and that's what is called evergreen content. And it'll live. I'll give my State of the Bull interview gets about 200 to 300 views a day, right? Versus your interviews may not do as well, not just because of Sammy, but because you have like I noticed you'd be like, oh, no more than Mr. Nice Guy, or
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and
No one's going to look at
okay.
that.
That's okay for a live, and it's okay to attract a live. But then after you're done, nobody's going to look that up. What they might look at
Would
is
you change titles after the live?
100%, 100%.
Oh, see, I never knew any of
No
that.
more Mr. Nice Guy could be. I would recommend why being a YouTuber put me to the edge. So now that everybody could, because somebody may be
I
a
could
YouTuber
change the descriptions now of a lot of these, right?
anytime. What you should do is when you release a video after the live,
Hmm.
and then look at the views in 24 hours. If they didn't go up, change the title and change the description.
I didn't know that. And how many views do you need? Did you tell me once you need 200,000 views to make $750
So if you roughly make for every 100,000, you make $400.
for every what?
Every 100,000 views,
Every 100,000.
yeah, you make $400.
Because I remember you saying once that when we may have taken down that you needed to make to edit it 750, a couple 100,000 views.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember, I
So
remember you
someone
saying that.
comes to me, right? And I had to edit a 5.5 hour video. I'm looking at $750 to really edit that correctly because it's going to take that long. I'm going to watch it once and then edit edit as you see fit. So to get the 750,000, yeah, you need about 150,000 views
Wow.
just for me to make that money back. And it was an economic decision.
You're better off just taking it down.
Agreed. So, all right. So, again, and listen, and Angel's not a fan of mine. She's been public about it. But I'm
Well, I don't think she's a fan of mine, to be honest with you. But you
well,
know what?
well,
But
well,
that she doesn't deserve this. I'm
well,
totally on
yeah.
her side.
So we'll never say anything negative.
I had
And I just
sisters.
exactly. I just will never say anything negative about her or anybody for that matter. And I
No.
really do wish that they're able to find some amicable solution that doesn't break the bank. Hey,
I
Marky
hope
Mark, how are you,
I
buddy?
hope she's okay, because
Yeah.
this leaves scars on. People still saw that stuff. I'm
Well,
sure that hurts
it's
her. I'm sure it hurts
it's
her.
it's just a shame. It's unfortunate, and again, I really do kind of hope
Yeah, me
that
too. I wish her
they
well.
solution. And I'm not hedging. I'm not fence sitting. I have no dog in this fight. I just really wish them.
Yeah, right.
So next up in mob news, so Gambino family captain gets 3 years, 37 months for various frauds and schemes. If you guys don't know, Andrew Campos is an alleged Gambino family captain, Westchester. He's got to pay about $1 million in restitution. He's
Thank you,
51
Rob.
years old, so he's still young. So that's good. Hopefully,
Which one is it? Who is he?
he is to the right. I think that's Frank Locascio, and then
To
him.
my right, the taller guy?
In the looking at it, all right. But I
Okay.
don't know if I get the same. I think I get the same right.
The taller guy.
Yeah, the taller guy with the bigger smile, and like a lot of the Bronx, Gambino guys like Locascio, etc. They did well for themselves. He lives in Scarsdale. It's believed that he, again, I guess convicted of, so we can say it, was put out a lot of money. Didn't pay taxes on it. Shelled out hundreds of thousands of dollars of payoffs in form of free labor materials to head honcho John Smiley Similakich home. I guess that was in order to get some stuff or favor done. Just some IRS stuff. It was all part of a 13 Gambino arrest. He's notable, Vinny. He went to school in Mount Vernon and allegedly kept relationship and is close friends with Sean Puff Diddy Combs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And allegedly over time might have I think they needed him to show up at a restaurant that was open. P. Diddy did it as a favor. I believe they still keep their friendship. They're from the same high school. They played football together.
Oh, wow.
Andrew Campos is a made man. He is a captain. Campos, although people believe is a Greek name, could also be Italian as well. I don't know if you know this, Ben. If you see a lot of Italians with the name IS,
Angel Defendus?
that they are typically Italian as well. And then some also have OS as well. And yeah, he's a made man. He's interesting because he was allegedly in the Locascio case where they made a lot of money. I'm talking allegedly 9 figures in kind of like a phone card and sex phone scam. It was a biggie. The biggie. Locascio's some big money earner, very serious crew in the Bronx. I don't know what's going on now. That's not my business. But just given whatever is public. And a lot of those guys, Vin, a lot of those guys made money in the Bronx, in Yonkers.
Bronx was serious.
Yeah, and they moved up to obviously Westchester, just like a lot of Queens guys moved to Long Island. Some guys moved to Jersey. The same, DeSantis, yes, Amber, exactly. And that's an Italian name. Yeah, Scarsdale's where he built a nice home. I like the fact that the feds wanted 43 months. They were really pushing it. And they didn't give him the full max. They shaved off 6 months. Hopefully they'll get credit, at 75% for Fed?
Something like that. Cost them 100,000. Below.
Oh, yeah, the defense that easily. Yeah, but $100 million.
150.
What is if you're at 75% at 37 months? So another 6 months, let's say. So at least he's young. Will get out.
Yeah.
2.5 years. And I like the judge didn't give the full recommendation by the prosecutors. They wanted 43 months, which was the max of the federal guidelines. So I am happy about that. it is what it is. What can you do? So yeah, it does sound Spanish, but they say the mob does not exist anymore. Yeah, no, that's not true. Every time I hear Andrew Campos, I think dude slip through. He brings a fat envelope. Well, so
Well,
here's another thing, Vin.
to me, the mob might not be what it was, but anybody that's walking around Maine, the mob does exist because they're still out there.
Exactly. The other thing was interesting with the Campos case. I don't know if you were following it. He
Yeah.
had like the doctor or something, and he was not allowed to have electronic communication, including a cell phone, right?
Oh
And
wow.
I don't know. It's like he goes to doctor's office. He's in the waiting room. He's using a cell phone. Somebody, this one was broke. And now I need a new phone. I have a 1-year-old daughter that throws it everywhere. But anyway, so they recorded him being on his phone, and that was part of the
Who
submission.
recorded them?
I would hope to God it was a federal person following him and did it
I
versus a
would
private
think.
citizen and sending it in. I would hope
Yeah,
to
I
God.
would think. Who a private citizen? Most wouldn't even know who he is.
Agreed. So I think he got tripped up on that as well. I mean, listen, I know Dominic talks a little bit about this, and I think that I think to an extent it's true. The feds really like. Here's my thing, right? So obviously, you're getting your guilty plea, but they sat there and went right for the max, 43 months, 43
Yeah.
months, 43 months, and they didn't get it. So I like the fact that judges can at least say, hey, you know what, we got you. Maybe you are a criminal and you're good in terms of having your plea. They did shave a little off, but yeah, to like get them at a doctor's office, it's
They spend a
customary.
lot of money on these cases. That's why they want you for the max.
That's
They
right.
spend a fortune on these cases.
That's right. How do you think? What's the big money earners for the mob nowadays, Vin? In your opinion?
Now,
Yeah,
um,
I think loan shark.
still
Vin,
loan
always
sharking.
gonna be
Loan
street
sharking
money.
will always be. There's always people that need money.
Well,
And gambling because people can't send money to DraftKings. They can't hide it. They can't get it out.
yep,
Probably not as much.
yep,
You're not going to go to your neighborhood bookie on a Sunday morning if you're 23 now. You'll have DraftKings. But
yep.
because most of those guys, very young, aren't spending that much money. But
So Drito, real quick, yeah, he's Italian descent, yes, and that'd be pretty cool. The first Italian. Joe Biden's wife is Italian descent.
is she?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. They like interviewed like they yeah, a few generations, but
Really?
they interviewed what is it called? Like they're like people in the Sicilian town. They traced it back, and they were
I
interviewing.
never knew that Pelosi's grandfather built the bridges, some
Yeah,
bridges.
Pelosi's father.
I never
And
knew
again, this
that.
is alleged. This is alleged. I need my man Carmen to tell me he's from Baltimore. Rolled around with some wise guys as well.
Well, she's got $100 million.
Alleged around.
30
Now,
years ago, they were making $100,000 in the government. I don't know how you
well,
know $100,000.
I'd like to. Yeah. So Amber, my local bookie, told me legalization hasn't hurt. I don't know a lot of guys that take book. I never got into that, but the one or two guys that I know do, their business as
Well,
usual.
guys that bet 500 a game, 1,000 a game, aren't sending $10,000 to DraftKings.
Correct. And then also the credit thing. Like I'll give you an example, right? We're gonna get to the predictions in a second. Um, I um I want to give them money, right? I'm a little bit of a weird dude. Forgive me. You guys probably know I'm a little weird anyway. I don't have a personal credit card. I have business credit cards, so they don't let me sometimes use them. My PayPal is a business PayPal. I don't have a debit card. Leave me alone. The reason why I don't have a debit card is you find one on the floor, you can use it, or God forbid, if they take money out, it's hard to get back. I had a buddy of mine. They cracked his code on his debit card. They took out a lot of money, and it was hard to get back. I just don't want things tied to my checking account. So
It
again,
just happened to Steve Gennaro. They stole his email and tried multiple times to get money out of his bank. He had to go to his bank yesterday. They told him multiple times they tried.
Jesus Christ. But so hopefully, Steven, you're okay. I don't know if he's here or not.
Yeah, he's
But
okay.
my point is that I just don't like to tie like my money to stuff. So when it goes to pay, it's almost impossible for me to pay because I'm like the worst. So I don't know how I'm going to pay. It'd be easier for me to call Jason or you. Be like, hey, just
Yeah, if you want. I think that DraftKings, I think, wants debit cards
yeah.
because I think I tried to use my Amex.
Now you
Yeah.
could. But again, because I don't have a debit card, I can't max it out. I got
Yeah,
to
you
run
need
the
a debit card, I
calculator.
think, because
Exactly.
that's how they pay you back. They
Well,
put it
that's
back
the
into
thing.
your checking account.
That's the thing. I
Yeah.
can take 500 out of the bank, and you can now go to 7-Eleven and they'll accept the money. Certain
Yeah.
7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. So brings us to why we're here. Okay. I know we don't have the biggest audience today, which is more than fine. Quality over quantity. I don't do a lot of lives lately because I've been a little busy. But it brings us now to our Super Bowl predictions. Vinny's not going. Well, he's going to charge me later. He's going to ask for a Venmo. But for you guys, Vinny's not charging. Vinny, you're up. What's your Super Bowl prediction officially?
I like the under. McVay.
Hi.
Listen, he's very conservative in big games. Take a look at his big games,
All right.
and there's no larger spot than this one.
Are
And
you what else? Are you teasing it all, or you're just gonna say
no, they have line difficulties, and I think it'll be a low scoring game. Now, low scoring, and it'll probably be 42. Yeah, not low. It's not going to be in the 30s, but and I like the Bengals. What I would do,
so?
that
Hold
line
on,
is
I want to
very
make sure this is
tempting.
correctly because you're the whiz. So under Bengals 4. So if you're a teaser, what
No,
does
I
that
wouldn't
mean?
take that. I would take to me, the Bengals are going to lose by 2 touchdowns or win the game. I don't think the spread's going to have anything to do with it. So I would take Cincinnati on the money line and take 170 because I really believe in these Super Bowls. Either you win the game outright. I don't think Cincinnati's losing by field goal. 4, it doesn't. 1, 2, and 4 are dead numbers pretty much. So I would think either they're going to win or lose by a touchdown, 10 points.
So hold on, because
So I'd rather take the money.
as you can tell, I'm not a regular gambler. So if your money line, you bet 100, you'll win 170.
Yes, if you take Cincinnati to win the game, no points. You're not getting 4
So
just
so
to
your
win the
money,
game.
so you're okay. So hold on, this is the point. You are Bengals money line 170.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
and
I
then
think they're going to win the game. So why would I take the points? I think they're
and then
going to win the game.
and then under, I
Yeah,
think is 110. So you bet 100, you get 110.
110 for 100.
Oh,
You
because
bet 110, you win 100.
got it. Okay. All right, locked in. I am making a bold prediction. I just pick one thing. I've been right on the last 2 Super Bowls, but I won't get political. I was right on the presidential election, and I was right on the Italy Euro Cup shootout to the end. Vinny,
Wow.
I am like not a savant yet because
Oh,
that's
you
why.
called the shootout? You called the
Yeah,
shootout?
yeah.
Wow.
Hold on, I gotta. I want to see if I can find it so you see I'm not full of shit.
I believe you're not full of shit.
And that'll be pretty cool to show just because I was super excited about that one.
I would be too.
Well, I mean, if you could do me a favor. Oh, my pick is over, over, over,
Yeah,
over,
you
over,
told me.
over, 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 over. I don't. Again, I don't judge how much people bets. If I can get to it, I'm going to try to put 550 on it to win 500.
Rob Leto, that's a nice teaser. Bengals plus 13.5 and over to 42. I like the under, but yeah, I could see you going over 42.
So Vinny, I'm making this up. I do this teaser, right? So I get
Mhm.
Bengals 13.5. I get the 42, and I bet $100. Is there a multiplier on it, or
Well,
it's
no,
100?
it's 6 and it's isn't it 7 and 10 a teaser? It's
Which
10
I mean,
points. Late 120 ties you lose. So to get 13.5 with the Bengals, you'd have to have a 3-team teaser. So you'd have to have Bengals plus 13 and a well, plus 14 and 14. The line's 14. You get 10 points. You can go over um what the line's 48. So you can go over 38 or under 58. You need one more bet in there.
got it.
A
And
10-point teaser is 3 teams.
if it was a 2-point teaser, what would it
Six and
be?
a half, I think. Six and a half. Been out of it a long time.
Got it. And then 40. Okay, but hold on. I'm 3 years old. I bet $100 as a two game teaser, 2-point teaser. If I bet 100, how much do I win?
120 and ties you lose. So if you were taking 10, let's just say, with the Rams and it fell on 10, you lose. 10 with Cincinnati, you lose.
Well,
If
let
a
me
tie
ask you
loses.
though. Let me ask you though.
Oh
I
no,
hate.
I'm sorry. On a teaser, it doesn't. Parlay, it loses. Teaser, I think it would revert to a straight bet. I'm not sure on that. I've been out of it so long. Oh, 6.5. Okay, so you would get 10.5 with the Rams,
Yeah.
and you would go over 41.5.
Okay. okay, but here's what I don't get is I follow the back end, meaning like the different stocks, Penn National, but et cetera, right? Their biggest money makers are from um, those prop bets and teasers and stuff. So that's why I try not to bet them because I feel like they're sucker bets. No,
They are sucker bets. But you see, 6.5 is a dead line. How many games? So a touchdown, you lose. 3 and 7, 40% of games land on 3, and I think whatever it is on the 7. So seven's line. So if you're taking 6.5, that's a dead line. Most games don't fall on 6.
got it.
You,
All right, so we
you
got
want to pass. You want to pass the important lines, the 3 and the 7.
Co-train at 24-20 Rams. I'm writing this down because if somebody like nails it, big bones.
But I do like Cincinnati to win the game outright.
That's interesting. Why?
I I've seen Stafford enough to know. I think, like you and I said, you know who wins? Young and stupid teams that don't know they're supposed to lose.
But you're not worried about the O line.
I think Burrows has shown that he has ice water in his veins. I've seen Stafford stiff, but what is it called? Spit the bit in a few games, and I honestly trust the rookie Burrow more. Doesn't mean I'm going to be right. I'm always wrong, but
what do you think? Here's my concern about being going like I do agree. Like Jeff Burrows is going to just again be like a kid almost like, hey, I threw 400 yards, and he's like my age looks back is like holy like what like
yeah.
what
What did I do?
Like,
Yeah.
I agree with that, and I think that works to his advantage, right? But the O line I think is going to be porous. I think they're going to get to him. And it's going to affect it, right? So what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to do the run. They're going to try to incorporate Mixon. So if Mixon doesn't get off the ground, and he goes back and he's getting knocked down every other play, goes a little against my over, but I think that's going to be the critical.
My best bet though is a prop: Cooper Kupp over 105 yards receiving.
Yeah, I don't get
because Cooper Kupp catches the ball for 8 yards and runs for 25.
So
and I think that's a good bet.
I had Woods, who's their other receiver in my fantasy, and that ruined my season. Having Woods out killed me.
Woods is good.
And then when it came to playoffs, I had Cooper Kupp, and I was up 23 points going into Monday Night Football. He gets 31 points.
I lost the time I played over with him.
He doesn't get 31 points
screwed.
Fantasy if Woods is there. So Woods fucked up my season. But anyway, teasers lose and parlays, blah blah. This will be
no teasers don't lose. Parlays lose. Oh, no, wait. What is it? Oh, teasers lose on a tie. Yeah, I'm going. I have been out of it for so long.
What's the difference between a teaser and a parlay?
Parlay, you get in the regular line, and all your money goes on the second half. So if you had Cincinnati. A parlay Cincinnati +4 and over. If both won, you have Cincinnati. If you had $500, now you got $10.50 riding on the other side.
What's the biggest prop bet you like?
Cooper Kupp over 105.
You said, I'm sorry,
and a half.
Cooper Kupp. 105. All right, well, we're gonna monitor this.
I like that one.
If Vinny, if you're available tomorrow, you're more than welcome to come.
I'm just looking at the lines here.
Little wings and pieces. Yeah, give a little more analysis. Come on, man. Let's unpack.
I'm looking for them. They have props like both quarterbacks over 260 yards or something. You get 3-1. Yeah. But like they're not giving you props to win money. Generally speaking, props are a sucker bet. Like at the crap table, when they're telling you hard 8, hard 5, if they're telling you to bet it, you think it's good for the casino?
True.
They don't want to make you money.
Good point. They're good.
Right? They're good. Anything they tell you to do, it's not good for you.
Correct, especially in any correct meaningful level. Agree. That I categorically agree with. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, I'm just going over. I don't know because I just find it so like. I just find it so like when I bet on like with Aaron Rodgers, I knew he was going to win. I know Mahomes, and I think Mahomes MVP. I knew he was going to win.
So you have a good opinion.
Yeah, and I
Generally.
like to document it before so people can't give me crap. So I'm like 4 in a row. I just am big on the over. Big on the over.
Put that down.
So I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of mob news to keep it relevant. Um, yeah, there's a lot going on in Canada now, and I heard Trudeau was like hiding out in the U.S. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but have you been following that, man? What's going on with the truckers?
Yeah. I haven't been following the mob at all, honestly.
No, the truckers.
Oh, in Canada?
Yeah,
A bit.
I just find it interesting, and I'm just giving my opinion. And again, that in token will get you in the bus. That we're America, we should like really be free speech, really be pioneering, kind of like different like outrage if there is outrage. And America, like now the truckers, we live and die by in this country. We need them. We need them. Our economy needs them
Absolutely.
unequivocally. So obviously, it wouldn't behoove us economically to do what they did. They'll shut down. They'll shut down the country. But I just find it interesting that the kind of sentiment and the boycotting is led by Canada, not by the U.S. I just find that part.
That is interesting. You know, the U.S. is changing already in this last year. If you notice, um,
Sorry.
woke isn't a word they use anymore. If you noticed,
Yeah, I
that,
just
that
think
has gone away. That word,
I
that
just
word killed the party. They're not using that word now.
I just think, and I talked to somebody today, we had a good discussion. Um, Free speech in this country is in trouble. You saw what's going on with Joe Rogan. I'm not talking about like what he did with his racial stuff. I'm not justifying.
No, yeah, right. Certain things are.
Yeah, and it just that, and that's gonna hopefully should be given. But the part on the free speech part, on having somebody on as a scientist to give their opinion, and then say, "Hey, I'm gonna pull out my music or whatever," just to share another view that doesn't fit like kind of the mainstream
Well,
narrative.
I'll tell you one thing, and it's not political, really. How does Roseanne Barr get thrown off TV and Whoopi get suspended?
Yeah, I saw that with
How
Whoopi.
how does she get suspended and Roseanne gets
That
thrown off?
was that was rough. I mean, I saw that. Yeah, I felt there was, there's certain things that are just like there's no wiggle room. Like it was unequivocally about race because
Yeah,
that's what they labeled as it. But that was a whole
absolutely.
mantra, and millions of people perished. I mean, generations lost. And
You know how we lost free speech?
yeah,
Donald Trump got thrown off Twitter.
uh,
Do
well,
you have a shot if they throw the president off? How do you
and
have a shot?
and then what happened when they deemed Parler as being like too whatever, and most of the tech companies that tend to be very liberal through I don't even know if Parler is up. I got to check through Parler. You got to you need a back end. You need a cloud service. You need A. You need B. You need
Yeah.
C. And they threw Parler off. AWS.
Zuckerberg admitted that they're liberal. He admitted, understand they're liberal. But listen, that's not his fault, But listen, you know when things are going to change? 2024.
What's your prediction there?
Well, put it this way: I don't. The House, there's no
Oh, the
question
House.
to me.
Yeah.
Senate, a little less, but still
Yeah.
no question. And I think I will tell you this much. I don't want to go too political, and I don't want to ruin you here,
No,
but I will tell you.
I don't listen. If I cared about money, I wouldn't be on YouTube.
I think Biden would have been out already if Harris was more liked. She is so hated that they can't even replace him with her. I think that their goal was to get him out after a
Yeah.
year and a half, and I think they can't now because you know what the problem is with that party? They groomed their fair haired child was Como. They
Yeah.
didn't bother to look at anybody else, and when he crashed, they got no one else. That's
Did
why
you,
If Como didn't have that problem, you would never be hearing Hillary's name.
did
They
you
don't have
hear?
anybody to put in there.
Did you hear that Cuomo may run as an independent in New York for governor?
I didn't hear that. Unbelievable. Only in America.
I'm pissed at the Cuomos because they could have been the Kennedys as Italians, like a Kennedy type family as Italians. He was married to a Kennedy, and they just
Absolutely. They had everything. Well, I don't understand why people say that Biden's not running the country. That people think he's not the president.
But
He
let
can't
me
even speak. They throw him off. He says they don't let him answer questions. Why do you think that they had they couldn't have if he wasn't in his basement? He wouldn't have won. They
let me ask
couldn't have him out there.
this question. Now, Cuomo, the father,
Yeah.
I think we all loved, was very liberal. It was against death penalty. I would
Yeah.
not call him a leftist, and if anything,
No.
he's probably a moderate now. But at that time, he would be considered very liberal for that time,
Yeah.
right?
Well, back then you couldn't be a leftist. You couldn't
Correct.
be. You
But
wouldn't have
people
won.
liked him. He knew how to navigate. He knew how to get things done. Even Giuliani, who is like the antithesis, like the two opposite, bipolar opposite of political agenda. Giuliani, the father, speaks nicely about him. Like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like what happened to the hey, you know what? I disagree with you, disagree with me, but we can do business. That was the father. The two sons, in my opinion, were like bullies.
Politics reminds me of YouTube. It does. 40 years ago, would you have Trump saying Sleepy Joe? You'd have a little respect. You might not like them, but
Yeah,
what goes on now is disgusting.
yeah.
And it reminds you of YouTube.
Good point. I think
And
things.
also, Como, listen, there was an MO there. There was a plan there where he was open collared on TV like your next door neighbor trying to get us through. That was all PR.
Yeah,
They didn't want him to look like a politician. They wanted him to look like your neighbor or your
yeah.
friend sitting on a couch with an open collar. That's what they wanted.
Rolled up
He would have
sleeves.
been, I'll tell you the truth, if we got through it quicker and he didn't have this problem, he probably would have won.
Yeah.
He was loved.
And the whole nursing home thing, him and even Governor Murphy in New Jersey, like they kind
He's
of
liberal, right, Murphy?
very
Brilliant stockbroker. Brilliant stockbroker, Murphy.
well. What I find interesting is, I guess I'd be liberal too if I were 50 million. Like he made his money at Goldman, and
It was
I guess he
brilliant.
just doesn't care, But I would think he'd want less taxes. I think he'd want to be fiscally conservative. I think he'd want more conservative policies. But no, he does not.
I have no patience, Tom. Like I love everyone, and I'm not necessarily for or against. I'm not going to say that. It's entertainment purpose on here. When all the Hollywood stars don't build the wall, then don't take the walls around your house. You got 15-foot walls around all your mansions in LA. Take the
Yeah,
walls down if you don't believe in walls.
yeah.
It's very easy when you're sitting there with 100 million where you don't need programs. Yeah, give it all away. You have your money.
Yeah, and I feel like there is just a farther divide. Like I don't
Wow,
like
I agree.
I can't talk politics at some. And listen, I tell people to this day I'm still a registered Democrat, right? Because I'm just telling you, being honest,
Yeah,
grew up
yeah.
as a Democrat, registered Democrat. But if you look at I don't know what the best way to do this, but like I'll give the Mafia Made book a plug here. But like I always feel like if I was here, it was left. If I was here, right? Like I didn't move. This moved.
Yes,
That's how I
absolutely.
feel. Like
I agree.
what's his name? JFK would be a Republican today. You
Well,
know?
the problem is during John Adams' time, people were supposed to go in for 4 years, help and get out.
Yeah.
You were not supposed to have a resume that says you're a career
And
politician.
you went to school with him, right?
Who? Yeah, yeah. You're not supposed to be a career politician.
Correct,
That
correct.
is not a job.
But they make money. That like how does
That's why it turned into a job.
that like there's these people that leave politics and they're worth nine figures. I don't and then like that Ilan Omar, like her husband gets paid like millions of dollars from her campaign. I like
Let Donald Trump's son sell paintings and see what they would have said.
I
Listen, I didn't necessarily love him. I thought he was a buffoon. But you know what? He's the kind of thing like he was our buffoon. But you know what? Everything that he said came true.
I
Every single thing he said came true.
I particularly I look at the policies, not the person, because that's what ultimately matters and what you leave behind. I love the First Step Act. I think it helped out a lot of African men who were able to spend Christmas with their family because they got bullshit drug
Yeah.
charges that were like just bullshit. and other type charges that. So I like the First Step Act. I think it was fair. I actually think with Italian Americans that were in jail, especially if you were affiliated with the mob, it didn't help because you throw like see a vowel, all of a sudden you're mob. But luckily for African American men specifically, it helped them. I like the urban enterprise zone
Yeah.
where we stimulated certain areas. A few other acts that I liked. I disagree with a lot of his policies. You know, it doesn't make me a bad person. Oh my God, you're this, this, and this. I agree with some of the policies that he enacted, and I don't know what's wrong with that. You know,
No, I agree. I just think it's I think it's like YouTube. I really do. Racism is big business. You hear it every 4 years,
you
and it's
know.
big business. Al Sharpton would be working at McDonald's if it wasn't for
You
racism.
know what? I'm gonna tell you
How does
something.
he get paid? What does he do?
Well, he owns a national action network, and there's some controversy around Max. I think he sold like his rights earlier.
Doesn't he owe $1 million in taxes?
Yeah, there's some controversy on that. I actually
Snipes owed 2 million and went to jail for 3 years.
yeah. Well, I don't want to say too much because it was somewhat of a private conversation, but I think I
No,
can.
I know what you're saying.
But when I had a cigar with him at Macanudo, we were there for 2.5 hours, and then like the next day, I interviewed him for like another hour. And that's public, and you could check. But he felt like he lost his step in terms of social media and his relevancy, and he pops back in every so often, but he's not in the news like he used to be. Like you're talking
No,
about,
he's not. He's
you
not.
know, and I don't think he recovered either. Like I personally get along. He's a friend of mine. I get along with him. We kept in touch. I'm in touch with his daughter.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I don't agree with everything he says and does, but he can still be my friend, you know.
yeah.
But but I think he kind of did like too many shenanigans, and I think he tripped him up. And then I also think that I gotta go soon, but then I think that um like he just didn't remain relevant on social media. I don't consider him, and again, I'm not an African American person, but I don't consider him like a foremost thought leader in the African American community where maybe he would want to be thought that way, you know?
I saw Rehab Royal. Rehab Royal. Joe Biden's son got a job with no experience, making millions of dollars a year, and the prosecutor got fired because he was going to be removed. I find a little odd that relationship too. But you know something? I will tell you this. It's to me, it's like having two. If you have two quarterbacks, you have none. Well,
Yeah,
I think Al Sharpton was involved in so many things that he had none. That's what I think. I
agreed.
think when you're involved in everything, what are you involved in?
Agreed. So let me
It-
give a quick yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm sorry, did I cut you off? I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, no.
All right. Just want to give a quick summary before we wrap up. Bob Miller,
Yeah.
Rams +4. Teresa +4 Bengals. Good job, Teresa. She even gave the score 23-21. I hope that's not it because he'll be under. Amber Alert +4 over Cincinnati. See, 48.5. Vinny Vincenzo is going to go under and money line 170. Co-Train has Rams 24-20. Big Bones 30-24. Teresa again gave her a specific score of 23-21. And Vinny's prop bet, and that's free for you.
Cooper Cup over 105.
5-5. So Vincenzo, I appreciate it. It was last minute. I just do this to memorialize it so tomorrow I could brag.
And by the way, I'll end you with a joke that I wrote. P. Diddy was going to marry Dolly Parton, and you know what their act was going to be?
Oh no.
P. Diddy and D. Titty. So,
I
and I
love it.
wrote that. Okay, everybody. Thank you for having me on,
Thanks,
Tom.
everybody. Jeff, sorry I missed you. I would have had you on. We'll finish it up. Good. Have a great Super Bowl, everybody. Thanks so much.